Yeah, so let's just get it done with. So basically, on night shifts, it would be pretty quiet. We didn't have to write a lot of price forecast reports. And so the night shift will start from 6:30 p.m. until 6:30 a.m. For 6:30 a.m., you have to write one final morning forecast report. But other than that, there wasn't much reporting to be done on the night shift. So it was pretty quiet. There wasn't much to do. Keep making sure your power plants are running smoothly. You're optimized your corporate power position, and that's pretty much about it. And yeah, other than that, I would say, I mean, the biggest challenge on the night shifts were just staying awake. I mean, it's not easy. Like people think, oh, it's not a big deal. I'll chug some coffee and yeah, you can do that. And but just understand that your biological clock will fight against it, and it has long-term repercussions. I don't care what people tell me, but doing a bunch of day shifts and then doing a bunch of night shifts. So sleeping at night for a few days and then sleeping on the daytime for the other days, that affects you. Affects your physiology, your mental health, of your physical health, and yeah, because your biological clock is not created like that through thousands of years of evolution. You're best optimized when you have a sort of discipline in your sleeping habits. And yeah, so you'll see people who are on the trading floor who have been a real-time power trader for a long time. They basically have a very short temper, and one of the reason is because of that, because they basically fought against their biological clock for a long period of time, and so that's actually one of the reasons I left, because it just wasn't worth it. I mean, there's so many ways to make money, making a bit of money by fighting against my biological clock, hampering my physical and mental health. It genuinely wasn't worth it. It reached that point, and so yeah, I decided to leave. And yeah, so yeah, the night shifts are pretty quiet. But like I said, I would recommend that you try the job, but I wouldn't recommend anyone to do the job long term, really, because one, like I said in my previous videos, the prospect of the energy trading market, the energy trading professional job market is very, very, very saturated. I think it's just gonna go on a decline in the next few years, and as the middle class gets wrecked, and so you're losing this big consumer base. And so I think the energy trading of volume trading activity will decrease. And so also like I said, doing these day shifts followed by night shifts and then again repeat, it's not healthy. So I wouldn't recommend anyone to do this kind of job long term. It's a good opportunity to learn something, but I wouldn't recommend anyone to do this kind of jobs long term. Okay, just keep that in mind. And what else? So yeah, I mean, what were the challenges on the job? People were very friendly, don't get me wrong. People were very nice, they were very helpful. Everyone was there to help each other out, no doubt. But, you can't blame people when they have short temper and all that because they haven't slept, the entire night and, stuff like that. It's hard to put blame on other people. And yeah, man, you just have to um, make sure that you don't stay in that kind of environment long term. That's my take on it. It's a good opportunity to learn about how the electrical market works, how the electricity technical aspects work, but it's not a good way to grow yourself as a person. Because let's be honest, most of the time as a real-time power trader, I wasn't doing anything. That's just the truth of the matter. Most of the time I was just monitoring my power plants, and yeah, there was very few opportunities to do bilateral trades. And other than writing a bunch of forecast reports and doing a bit of making sure our corporate power positions are optimized so we get the best value for our bucks for our power plant. Other than that, there wasn't really much to do. I mean, most of the time I was just, if I was at home, I was just watching. Yeah, I was just, there was not much to do. And it sounds a very fancy, good job, right? Like, oh, there's not much to do. It sounds like a good job. It sounds like the best job. And in the beginning, I thought that same thing. I thought that, okay, this is a job where I don't have a lot to do. It seems like a job I can do long term. But the problem with that is you lose the habit of self growth. when you're at a job where you're not learning, when you're not constantly being challenged at the job the entire time you're in the job, what happens is you learn the ability to grow yourself. Okay. And I struggled with it. When I left the job, I worked there for barely 1 year. I learned a lot on the job and everything was good. But once I left the job and I was trying to improve my skills, grow myself as a person, that's when I realized that how much I changed. That, my old habits of how I was able to learn a skill fast, I was able to focus on personal growth, those habits just disappeared. Okay. And it was because of that job. I don't want to blame completely on the job, but when you have a job that easy, where you're basically doing very little and except just staring at the monitor, and it kind of gives you the makes a habit out of not doing much with your own life. And yeah, like I'm someone who, whether I make a mistake or whether I get something right, if I had to choose between doing something and doing nothing about a situation, I'll choose doing something, even if I get it wrong. Okay, my belief is always doing something. Okay, and so if you're someone who likes to work, who likes to be active, who likes to actually do something, then I wouldn't suggest this kind of job long term. But if you're someone who who doesn't mind sitting idle most of the time and who doesn't mind pushing himself or herself to grow all the time, sure, try the job, see if you like it. But yeah, it's a good learning opportunity, no doubt. It's a very interesting industry. It's a very small circle. Okay, the power trading industry, it's a very small community. It's a very small circle that has its upsides and downsides. But now the circle's getting bigger as the job market's getting bigger in the power trading industry. So um, yeah, that's pretty much it about the job, and that's it for this video. In the next video, I'll just talk about the basics of the market, like how I optimize the power plants, how I decided if I wanted to do any bilateral trades with my counterparties, and how any money when I made money, how I made those money in the power markets. And yeah, I'll just talk about the trading part aspect in detail in the next video. Until then, peace.